first point, I hope the first discussion topic, which is the areas within biosafety where further synergy can be achieved among the three organizations of ours. On this discussion topic, that I would really like the participants to think about, apart from the databases related work, what can we do to improve our collaboration and strengthen the synergies that we have in three organizations? We would like to hear from you about your ideas. Of course, it can be on the databases, but then we would really like to hear about, apart from the databases, what can we do? In this session, that I would like to ask OECD's Peter to facilitate the discussions. Peter?
Okay, thanks very much, Masami. And you gave a clear description of what we would talk about for the next 20 minutes or so, strengthening future collaboration between the organizations.
Yeah. Sorry, Peter. I forgot to introduce those active participants that I have mentioned earlier. I'm sorry, I quickly introduced. We have 6 active participants who kindly accepted to be active participants to have a microphone to talk with us. One is Heis Glader from Netherlands, Joachim Bendik from Germany, Pablo Pindato from EU, and Rington Ogoi from Kenya, and Anita Antosami from Malaysia, and Ernst Ocampo from Uruguay. So we can ask them for some insights by a microphone and speaking voices, and then we can have also some comments and questions in the chat box. So everybody is invited to comment and then ask questions in the chat box. Thank you. Sorry, Peter.
That's fine, Masami. Yeah, what areas exist where joint efforts between our three organizations could be further developed, and how can that be done? How might that be achieved? And I think in the interest of time, maybe I'd like to go to one of our speakers, Heis Glader from the Netherlands, because I think you may have some things to tell us. So, Heis.
I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
If not, please tell me so.
Okay. We can hear you.
That's because I'm hotel lobby. Okay. Yes. Well, I was just wondering, because it seems that the database have some features of their own, and they have some things in common. Now, viewing it from the user, for instance, I want to know some particular things on a GMO. I want to know, what decisions have been reached, what the risk assessments are. But I also want to know some general information and what is already known about the crop, independent assessments and such. So it'd be very good if there were some linkage, perhaps. In each record that each database has some kind of link that you could use to link through to the other database to find this additional information. Or perhaps some centralized portal where you can find, as an overview where you can link through to all these databases. So I was wondering whether, one database could link to the other for specific information that you can't find in that particular database, but in the parallel one. For instance, if OECD could link through to CBH and the FAO and vice versa. So that would be my question actually, whether there are, administrative or technical possibilities to do so.
Okay, thank you, Heis. I don't know. Yeah. Thanks, Heis. I'm not sure, Giovanni or Masami, you want to say a couple of words here. Maybe Masami?
I think that is a very good suggestion. In terms of the Well, I have too many ideas on this topic, so maybe better not to preload with the ideas from my side.
Thank you, Masami. Thanks, Peter. Yes, once again, what we are trying to do is to, first of all, follow the request of our parties, because this is what we are for. We are secretariat that have the obligation to implement the decision of their parties. So the important thing will be that the request of the parties will go very specific about how to harmonize these things. What we have so far is a request for general harmonization, and what we are working toward is definitely to create more harmonized way. That means links, that means a unique set of LMO, and we will discuss this in discussion topic 3. But once again, we have to understand that what you see of the OECD database, the FAO database, and the BCH are all the outcome of what parties have asked us so far to do. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, thanks, Giovanni. I don't know if I personally would have anything to say in addition to that. I think that was a fairly good statement that you could have made on our behalf, Giovanni. But it's certainly something that I should mention here, that we, all three of our organizations are really interested in strengthening our collaboration. So thanks, Gijs, for the ideas, and let's see how we can maybe address some of them later on. I think that I should ask somebody else who we have on the list, and I'm wondering if Dorrington from Kenya, if you are still there. You were there earlier. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm back. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Okay. So I think from my perspective, the possibilities of having the document submitted once to the various organizations so that they can filter out the SAVs would really facilitate the work of the various regulators. So my position would be, if there's a possibility of us submitting only once, maybe to a common, whether it is to the initial BCH, for example, and then from there on, it is possible for the other institutions to move on and filter out the right information that they require. I think that would be facilitative. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. A very practical thing for us to look into there, Dorrington. Could I maybe call on Joachim Bendiek from Germany, please? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Thank you for giving the possibility to make an intervention here as well. I would like to, first of all, support the intervention of and as well the attention to what Laura Bonfini wrote earlier in the chat with when we were discussing still about the presentations. And I think it always goes in the same direction. It is, from the practical point of view, it would be very helpful if we could have the same set of information placed somewhere, and the different, let's say, the different applications would just grab out the ones which they particularly need for their particular purpose. So the same set of information is available in a central form, and this is it's more technical than a formal point to do. Yeah, I think here we'll leave it for the moment. No, one important thing as well. In this respect, I think it is important to make clear which information belongs where to. And one of the important things here is, on the one hand, the unique identifiers which we have for a whole range of GMOs. On the other hand, it would be helpful to have genetic elements, for example, named in a similar way or in the same way. So this, because otherwise it's very difficult to attribute information to different data fields. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Joachim. I think what I'd like to do, I'm not going to be able to ask all the active participants to join at this point, but you will be asked, I'm sure, in the two subsequent discussions if I don't get to you at this time. But I'd next like to ask Anita from Malaysia if she has any observations, and then maybe Masami and to come back on what we've heard so far. Masami and of course Giovanni. So Anita, do you want to make any points? Okay, maybe we don't have Anita for the moment. Maybe could I come to excuse me, I'm just trying to figure out all of this information flashing before us. Michael Eckenstorfer, he wrote in on the chat line, isn't most information directly related to specific LMOs by a similar system, in other words, unique identifier? So it is fairly easy to retrieve corresponding information from all databases. It's possible. It is relatively easy to retrieve the corresponding information, I would say. But Masami and Giovanni, do you have any points that you wish to address either on that particular issue or anything that the two earlier questioners or interveners mentioned?
Sure, this is Masami from FAO. I think it's a good point that basically all three databases are indeed using the unique identifier that developed by OECD, that is the system. And then I think that is the core pillar that we can use to somewhat harmonize the format of the data that we collect at each respective database. And I think this is the way to go. And then I think that already some levels of efforts have been made at all organizations, which I trust that the Gianni can complement.
Yes, thank you, Masami. We are, when I was mentioning that we are actively working toward harmonization of database, this was, of course, implied that the way that we are looking at the solution that we are looking at is the fact that all the three organizations use unique identifier as set by the OECD. The problem that we are seeing at the moment is that the unique identifier are established by the developer the time that the product is most of the time when the product is commercialized, and in the BCH we deal with the environmental release, as I was saying before, even at level of field trials, so we have more LMO than unique identifier. Of course, I mean, this may be somehow addressed by asking the developer to use a unique identifier since its beginning, but there has been some sort of resistance into that, because I mean, not all the LMO ends up into, and therefore there is not much an interest in providing a full identity to an LMO that is just for trials. At the same time, the moment that need information about the field trials or anything that is not already having a full identity, this creates still some problem, especially when you want to merge more than one database into the information according, and this LMO has not a specific identity. So yes, we are addressing this issue as far as well as we can, but there are technical difficulties into that. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Masami.
Hi, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me? Okay. I found the presentations quite useful, especially the scope of the three organizations, FAO, CBD, and OECD. So from those slides, we also saw, that the scopes, there were a lot of overlapping of the scope. So I thought it was useful that, if the organization that has the largest scope would be able to put information so that the organization with the lesser scope could pull in the data. So also to support one of the previous intervention that said that, for us regulators, it would be really helpful to just have one input and then it's put in together by the organizations.
Yes, thank you, Peter. Yes, definitively, that most of the people of the country do want and would like to have the possibility of an integrating database because, as you know, most of the country officers are in different activities but as Giovanni said, there are several technical difficulties in integrating these databases. I wonder how would we inform mode.
Okay, yes, resources. Sami, Giovanni, do you want to say anything to that before, and I think this can be our last question in this particular section.
Well, Sami, it's the difficult question, that is what I was referring by political will of parties, and we agreed not to have a political discussion here, but when we go on technical discussion, you have to understand that three databases that have been created in different times and with a specific mandate, although they were very close, they have a slightly different type of technology, and to merge this technology, although it's very easy possible to be done, and there is a need for investment of resources, and these resources are both human and financial. This is important to understand that when our parties require us to work toward harmonization, there is a limited set of action that we can set in place without having dedicated resources and financial funds, so financial resources. So once again, resources. This is definitely the big issue in order to have a full harmonization of these databases. I don't think that between OECD, CBD, and FAO there are, any type of disagreement on how this can be done or what could be a very useful common goal. But of course, resources are the problem, and so far we don't have these resources available. Parties have not made these resources available to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Giovanni. Peter, can I say something about this? Thank you very much. From FAO point of view, of course, the resource is the issue, but then I would really like to bring everybody back to the points that I made earlier, that these databases were developed on the basis of the request legal agreement by the countries or parties, government. So basically, each organization mandate to develop and then also maintain those databases. So if we are to make any changes in a direction, for example, merge with other databases or connect the links and exchange the data inside of among those older databases, we do need some sort of direction, instruction from our governing bodies. So basically, the countries have the decision power to make direction straight possible. So it's not organization-wise decision. That's something that I would like to remind everybody. And then I will be very happy to work toward a less, resource efforts. And then also this international level, I am experiencing very inter-organization collaborations together, all three databases. So we are working towards achieving this of the harmonization in some way, but then we do need some sort of direction instructed by each governing body. So this is something I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
It's time that I turn back to you. But there was just one comment that is really relevant to what we were just discussing. It was to suggest each focal point or delegation get in touch with the other ones in national level. So, Masami, and I just wanted to say I think this has been a really excellent webinar so far. I'm sure it won't be the last one we organise, but I agree it's been great collaboration between us. Masami.
Thank you so much, Peter. Just to quickly recap what we discussed, that we talked about possible areas for the future collaboration, but then I think the database is the core ones, and then we talked about integrated way, the possible way to strengthen our collaboration through this common OECD unique identifier, and then all three organizations will see the feasibility of integrating the data together so that efforts and the resource can be saved. And then also Peter commented that the national level collaboration may find a way to have this collaboration among three databases further strengthened. Also, as Peter webinar would be quite a good way to this informal discussion, and this is a good forum to exchange information. And then also we sending all of you, the participants, both sessions, two sessions, the participants' name and contacts to everybody, so you can see who from your country are participating in this webinar. You can see from other colleagues, national colleagues from other these ministries participating in this webinar, so that you know who from your country are involved in this biosafety area, and then hopefully that would help you to work together and then towards more synergetic collaboration together at the national level too. So thank you for this discussion topic number 1 about synergy and collaboration. Now I would like to move to the next topic. It is quite similar, but then I would like to learn about national level communication among different users of the databases. So now that I would like to invite those active participants